people are still a little more COVID sensitive, not everyone, and marching people to the office became certainly out of favor. But we have a heavily themed, very beautiful office. We used to give people tours, which we still do sometimes. You can't just have a good Google review and then treat them like not nicely. We're going to promote good health and prevent future problems. That has been a very powerful message for us, but I couldn't tell you in any one specific thing. I really feel, and we kind of touched upon this here and there, but I'll make it very clear, your best source of patients is going to come from within your own office.
Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Go, where we dive into the nitty-gritty of how people get more new patients into their offices. And I have an exciting episode for you today. Dr. Marc Bennet, who's an owner-partner of 5 pediatric practices in New York, he shares some of the hard things that he has to go through in his area to overcome how to get more new patients in his office and the secret sauce of how he's grown his practices. You are going to want to tune in for this one, so stay tuned. All right, so why don't you introduce us and let us know how many offices you have, where you're located, how many new patients a month you're seeing.
Hey guys, I am Dr. Marc Bennet. I am a pediatric dentist. We have 4 locations and we are on Long Island, depending on the location and the traffic. Let's call it 45 minutes or more out of Manhattan, which could be 3 hours and could be 30 minutes. And then what day you go and what time.
Yes.
It's super busy area. The Long Island has 2 counties. The counties we're in are often coming up as higher taxes, more dense population relative to some other parts of the country. And I always joke with people, in order to get to my office, no matter where you're coming from, you go into past at least 1 pediatric dental office and probably 10 dentists, but probably more. So we've made our place in the world of dentistry by, I don't want to say high end. We are a dentist for everyone, but we are predominantly fee for service. We're in network with a couple insurances.
Sorry to disrupt the show, but I got something crazy to share with you. We are attempting to connect with all of our listeners. We have thousands of people that listen to this podcast, and we want to meet you in person. We have 4 events coming up, and I want to give you a discount code that you can use for the next week to save $300 off your ticket. The discount code is Gary Bird, and the link is going to be just down below. You can also go to smcnational.com/events. I hope to connect with you in person and help each other grow our businesses. Can't wait to see you soon.
We don't take any state insurance, and we're only in network with a couple of plans. So I always tell people that if you're here, you want to be here. You didn't choose my office because I'm the guy who is on your plan. Of course, that happens sometimes, and people come for all different reasons. But we're going for a slightly nicer experience. The big not joke, but term we use in the office, and we stole this from someone else, truthfully, don't ask me who, but we are a customer service organization that happens to provide dentistry. So
that's really good. I like that.
Upon that. That's part of our journey.
How many new patients roughly are you seeing a month right now?
So it's funny because I'm going to be meeting with your team later, so I have to really sit and break it down per month. But there's an ebb and flow in pediatric dentistry. When you average it all out, I think it's safe to say per location, some locations are busier than others, it's about 10 new patients a week per location. So you'll call it 40 a week or do the math, depends how you do it. We are traction people. So we have scorecard, which some of your listeners know about. So we try to go by weekly numbers and quarterly goals and all these kind of things. So try to break it down by weekly to be able to respond quickly.
That's awesome. And then, so what has worked really well for you? What are some things that I know you've, Google reviews has been huge for you. So I'd love to talk through that. But what are the things that you just say, man, these things really help drive new patients directly?
So I am not that old. I don't think I'm that old. I'm 42. And
I'm 40 and I'm not old either. So yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not old, but I actually have seen a tremendous change in the way that we get new patients, and it is always evolving. This is not a secret, but when I first got here, they were coming from professional sources, pediatricians sending kids, another dentist, I can't handle this, go to this guy or gal or whoever. Always friends are going to be sending their people like, oh, you got to go to my dentist. He's so great with my kid, Joey, or whatever. But by and large, the largest source of new to the office people is, I'll just generically say, the internet. So whether they found me on Google, on a Facebook group, on a Facebook mom site, which are big here, a review site, you name it, it is the internet. It used to be that my best friend sent you here, which I still get that, of course. My sister brings her kids. That's still a huge source of patients. But now everyone's best friend is Google, Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot, and much less TikTok, but at least for my market. So when I have a question, first thing I do is I go to Google, and then I evaluate from there.
Yep.
But that's where people go. That's where people go for questions.
Yep.
And they're even switching how they do it. It used to be I type it in. Now I ask Siri. I use the voice search. My kids, who not that young, but my 13-year-old, my 10-year-old, who do have personal cell phones, they don't even type. They just hit the button. They say, what pizza place is open? So you need to be, kind of voice optimized for the questions that people are asking. They don't even know what they're looking for, but you have to come up and look good.
Yeah. So how do you manage that? Because there's a lot of things you listed there, right? So there's Google. So Google's huge. So you can run ads and do SEO for Google. Mm-hmm. And then there's all the other stuff you just listed. So there's the mom groups. There's the other, like Nextdoor is another one. And some of those, do you just approach those as like, hey, those are kind of like referrals where you just take really good care of the customer and then other people tell other people, or are there things that you do to stoke that?
So I am a full-time clinician and I am very busy. I feel fortunate that I'm very busy, but I don't have specific time carved out. So I depend a lot of this, the Google ads and whatnot, on companies like yours. Say, hey, I need you to manage this for me. I need help. I'll meet with you, but I can't do very much. But I guess maybe the thing to talk about, the thing that I think I have gotten good at, I'm an outgoing guy, I'm a loud guy, and I don't have a lot of shame or fear. So I know that my patients are coming from other patients, whether they're real interactions or digital interactions. And I tell everyone this. I tell my staff, I tell my partners, I tell my associate doctors, I go, my schedule is often more booked than other people's schedule. And it's not because I'm a better doctor. I'm definitely not a better doctor. I'm not better looking or better at this, or I don't do something different than the other people in my office, at least, by specialty. But people are constantly telling me, I read on Google, I saw on Facebook that, you're funny, or that this happened, or you saw my best friend. And then I chose you because I read, and I have the most Google reviews, not because I'm the best, I'm far from it. But you need to really put yourself out there and just ask people. And again, few of what I'm about to say is original, but I think people know things and then don't necessarily do them. So I'll try to put it as plain as I can. Humans, like by human nature, people like to help other people. We are social people. And you could be in a fairly cynical city like New York or LA or something. If you smile at someone, someone's going to give you the finger, but more people are going to smile back than not. I thought before, let's try to give some good examples, but whenever everyone says, I found you on Facebook, I saw you on Google, my friend at the site, I'll say, can you do me a favor? Can you help me? I try to make it a little silly sometimes, say, there's another mom or dad or uncle, whoever, just like you, who doesn't know that their kid needs this. Or if I have a very large treatment plan, sometimes people come in, they think there's one cavity and there's 10 and their kid needs sedation. And they're like, oh my God, like what happened? Like, well, this is what happens. We're going to fix it. It's okay. We're, stay positive. We're going to fix it. We can do this. Okay. But can you do me a favor? I know that someone in your kid's playgroup, the soccer team, whatever they told me about, they have the same problem as your kid has. Say nicer, hopefully. But
yeah,
they don't know where to go, especially we see a lot of special need families, kids with sensory disorders. It can be hard and young adults even. for these people to go to the dentist. People that are very fearful, even if they have all of their facilities, can be a scary thing to go to the dentist. We try to make it as fun as possible. I say, I bet you know somebody, or just like how you got here with a Google review, sometimes they make it silly. You have to read the room, of course. You can't ask everybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, I literally joke. I go, oh, we saw so many reviews. I said, that's because I ask. But you know what? I got a little competition with my partner. Can you do me a favor? I have a little bet with him. We've got a real bet, but I want to have more than him. So you do me a favor. Can you do that for me? Prevent what happened to you from happening to someone else. And most people are down with it.
They want to help you. Yeah. They want to help you beat the competitor, or they want to help you or help the other people. And the other thing that most people don't realize, especially in the dental world, is that things have changed. So it used to be a one-on-one ratio that someone goes out and tells one person about you, and we'd be really happy about that. Mm-hmm. But now, even if you have that one-to-one ratio, they're still going online. They're still looking you up before they actually come in. And then also when they go into these mom groups and they share, that's like patient referrals on steroids. And there's not a lot you can do to provoke that, but I think you are doing all the right things to help encourage it. And one thing that I wanted to add to this is I know you take your patient journey very seriously, and how the offices look and feel and just the whole patient experience. Can you kind of break that down, how that plays into all of this that you're talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, because of our founder and first partner who are still practicing, we have a fairly complicated name. It's Adelberg Montalvan. Few people can spell that. They're going to type it in the Google room. But if someone tells me that on a soccer field, it's not like I'm going to, happy teeth smile. It's a little bit of a weird name. Maybe they remember it, maybe they don't. The first thing anyone's going to do is Google it. So we try to do our Target or AdWords, geofencing, all of these things. But, people are visual. I definitely don't have as much as I should, but video, testimonials, the look, and you can't have a gorgeous picture online and then an ugly office. So we're not perfect, but we try to have the phone picked up by the second ring. We have earlier hours, we have later hours, we have Saturday hours. We try to have friendly people. The way they pick up the phone is, how may I help you smile? This is so-and-so. It's kind of become like a little bit of our tagline, which honestly, I didn't come up with that. One of my employees came up with that. One of my team members. And
that's really good.
Everything, we try to, one of our core values is wow. We're trying to wow you from that first phone call to when you leave. So we're at a network for some people, many people, honestly. So we try to figure out what the payment is and have lots of different payment options. And there's no mystery, black hole. What's this going to cost? It's a lot of fear people have. We have fallen out of doing this partially because of COVID and where we are in the country. People are still a little more COVID sensitive, not everyone. And marching people to the office became certainly out of favor. But we have a heavily themed, very beautiful office. We used to give people tours, which we still do sometimes. Parents can come back. I know that can be a hot topic in pediatric dentistry, but for us, that's important. And it's everything from the carpeting color to the lighting to the decor to the way you say something to what you're wearing. It's not just one thing. You can't just have a good Google review and then treat them like not nicely.
Yeah, 100%. And another side of this, and you've mentioned it several times already, but I think it's important to call out, is the market itself. So the market that you're in is very, very competitive. So now here's something from my perspective. Every dentist that I talk to goes, no, Gary, you don't understand. My market's tough and it's unique. Everybody says that. It doesn't matter where it's at. But
Absolutely.
yours is verifiably one of the hardest. New York is very, very difficult. That whole region near the city there is tough because there's rivers, there's bridges, there's tolls, there's traffic, and people are stacked on top of each other. You might have a millionaire or even a billionaire living up here and literally a homeless person living right below him. We don't have that in Southern California quite as much, right? We're more spread out. And so you have one of the tougher markets. So how do you approach that? Or what's your message for people out there when they're thinking, man, my market's just tough? How do you kind of mentally sort through that?
I mean, I guess I'm going to steal something that I know you speak about, but I'll see anyone who walks in the door, and we're often surprised. You think someone's going to be a bad patient, and they're maybe the best in the whole office because you make a judgment based upon their income, where not you don't know their income, but where they live, what job they have. You can get patients from anywhere, but
Yeah.
we do have, if you want to call it an avatar, sounds like it's a trendy word to say now, but
Yeah.
I know that my ideal patient is going to be someone who values quality, and we're all board certified. We're all board certified, but no one cares. No one knows what that means on an advertisement. It's like a big funnel. I'm throwing out this net on the internet. Even if I'm trying to be a little targeted, there's no relationship there. You're just another name and someone else is board certified. So I don't push that we're board certified, even though I think that's super important. I push that we have, and we've asked people, why do you come here? What do you like? The office is clean. The office is available to you. But I also know my ideal target customer is someone who is, at least for the area, you're not rich, you're not a billionaire, but a little more disposable income. It's not the person who's looking to save every penny, and I am not the most expensive, even in my area. But if you were looking, the minute someone says, I have to stay network, I have to stay network, I have to stay network, that's a much harder person for me to get. And some of those people will come, but my experience has also been, even if they come, they don't last here forever. They have one problem that I fix. It's a sedation, it's one filling, then they go back to their in-network dentist, which is fine. But with pediatrics, it's a little funny. I get the person for the most for 15, or maybe it's going to be 20 years on a rare case, because people don't always move out and go to college. But if I was a general dentist, you come when you're 20, you could stay until you're 80, hopefully. All of my patients are going to leave. So I have to have new patients, and I have to have the right new patients who are going to stay with me. And ideally, I have an orthodontist, I have an oral surgeon, continue their journey with me, because they understand they're not paying a lot more. Maybe they're even paying less, because sometimes out-of-network benefits are really wonderful. But I'm not just the guy or gal or whoever that takes your insurance. Like, you're getting something different here.
Got it. And so when you approach this problem, right? So you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get people in? I know there's a certain right kind of customer, and I know there's probably a wrong kind of customer, and you're trying to attract these patients in. What works best to actually get them in, either channel or the call to action? Is there something that you go, you know what, this in my area works really well for me? As an example, maybe it's a free exam and x-ray, or maybe it's a discounted cleaning, or maybe
we've done some version of everything. And the real truth is, I haven't been fantastic about tracking. It's very hard because we have too many locations, too many providers, too many people picking up the phone, which is good, but it's a little harder for me to be like, oh, we did this thing free under 3, and that worked amazingly. I do feel if I can get them in, they're highly likely to stay, because I do think we offer something better, something that's near and dear to my heart and works very well with pediatric dentistry. And maybe you know, or maybe you don't. It's not even so much that like there's so many patients. Some people live on Long Island, but people don't always bring their kid at the right time. You're supposed to come at age 1, and if I can prevent a problem, that's so much better than solving a problem. So having that message that, like, when people call, when they see my ads, it's that we're going to promote good health and prevent future problems. That has been a very powerful message for us, but I couldn't tell you in any one specific thing. We do many things that are non-digital too. I mean, I don't really think we get very many patients from sponsoring the soccer team, but I do know that, but like, it feels good to do, and I love it.
Does,
and like, I want to, I hate to say this, a parent passes, or God forbid, a child. And I'm certainly happy to donate and to do whatever and get our name on the dance recital thing. I don't think people are coming from that, but when, it's like Nike's doing pretty well, but they're still advertising, as is Apple.
Yeah.
And again, nothing I'm saying here is brand new. You just have to see something. They say like 6 times or 7 times. So I just want to be all over the place. Something that's been very powerful for us, non-digital and very time consuming, is going to the schools, going to the street fairs, handing out toothbrushes, your kid comes home with something and maybe you book, maybe you don't, but then your friend says something and then you Google and you put it all together. I saw
It
that at the dance
compounds.
recital. My friend goes there. I saw that on Facebook. I think that's helpful, but I couldn't tell you one single thing.
Yeah. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do when you're small, right? If you only have one practice and you're the only dentist, you're probably not going to be able to do that. But as you grow and you get more time and you start to see the value of that, obviously those are the kind of things that you can really take advantage of and use to
Having the
help people.
dentist go is super powerful. Like the dentist came. I gotta tell you, my hygienists are much better than I am. They are lovely. They're super smart. Obviously, we're in pediatrics, they're great with kids. I do go to some of the school shows even still, but often my schedule doesn't allow it. But you can have a great bubbly receptionist. You can have a great hygienist, a floater. It's more about the personality. The information they're going to be giving a bunch of kindergarteners is not super high level. Like you don't need a degree to tell someone to eat healthy foods and brush your teeth. Like that's, and I don't know that the kindergarteners are so much absorbing that information. I think it's the pamphlet you're giving to the parents and the kid being like, the dentist came visit me and they had a cool puppet. Like no one's like, Mom, I think I should have less sticky sugar. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
But
they're not sharing that part.
Community.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you had everybody here listening, let's say all the pediatric dentists across the country, and they're new, they're starting out and they're trying to figure out, navigate this whole marketing world, what would you tell them? Where would you tell them to start? What would you tell them to do to kind of get their feet wet and start to get an understanding of how to grow their practices?
I really, really feel, and we kind of touched upon this here and there, but I'll make it very clear. Your best source of patients is going to come from within your own office. It's just people will help you refer people, and you just need to put yourself out there. And I understand everyone, even in my own office, I cannot get some of my doctors to just say, could you do me a favor? Like people come up to the front, they're like, oh, that was much better than I thought it was going to be, or that was less scary or less expensive, or you name it. Like I say I want to take an x-ray, they assume it's $1,000 and maybe it's 40. They're like, what? It's only $40. Be like, can you tell people like we opened another location, which is by nature slower. People are like, this is great. I used to drive 20 minutes to you. Now I drive 5. It goes, could you tell your friends, like, honestly, like, I'm a little bored. We need more patients. Like, make it silly if you're silly. Make it serious if you're serious. But asking people, point blank, asking them to refer friends is huge. This is also nothing secret. I happen to love coffee. And I want to be crystal clear. You are not supposed to, you should not say, if you send a patient or if you leave a review, I will give you. You're not allowed to do that. Do not do that. But once they've given the patient or done the review, be like, listen, thank you so much. This is amazing. I feel so honored. You can't say who they sent. You can say, thank you for sending Timmy. That's not allowed. I think everybody knows that. I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera, but I printed these right from Starbucks. I put our logo on the card.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's technically a business card. It's a $5 Starbucks card. This is not hard to do. It's cheaper as you buy more.
Yeah.
And not for nothing. Sometimes I talk too much. Sometimes I get stuck on the phone. Sometimes another kid gets hit with a baseball bat and I got to put a tooth back together and now I'm late. Not even to get patients, just to build a sense of happiness, trust. Mrs. Miller, just be honest. I am so sorry. I hate to keep you waiting. I'm really sorry about that. Like, I'm sorry. This is what happened. I'm not going to lie. Like, and I was like, listen, it was my fault. I was talking. I'm sorry. I talk a lot. Have a cup of coffee. I'm so sorry. And I've never had anyone be mad at me. And I've, on more than one occasion, they're like, oh my God, I waited 2 hours at the pediatrician. No one said anything. I waited 4 hours at the OB. This is nuts. Like, you got me a cup of coffee? You don't even need to. I said, you know what? Do me a favor. Tell your friend. Don't tell them I was late. Tell them that you free cup of coffee.
Exactly. Yeah.
I apologize.
Control the messaging. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And
I'm a person. I'm a parent. I'm just like you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on. There's some gems that we definitely got out of this, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun and easy. So I do appreciate your help. And also, I mean, I really mean this, all that you do for the community. I do listen to the podcast, and I went to the boot camp, which was wonderful, and I'll try to go next year. So thank you for all of your insights and help.
Awesome. Yeah, that's my goal. I really want to build community, and just genuinely, the one thing I've learned about a community is you just have to give and give and give and give and give. And in the long run, it pays off, and just helping people is an amazing feeling. And I know you feel the same way. You do the same thing in your community, and for where you're,
That's why we're all doing this. I want to have more patients to help more people.
Yep.
It's a business,
100%.
but it's also, you can't be doing this without caring about your patient and your community.
100%. Awesome.